What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about SwiftCoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. All right, here we are on this, the 17th of April. Coming down a little bit today. Sure, you're down about 6%. Your nemesis Onyx coin is up about 6%, right? The race is ever continuing. SwiftCoin's off to a slow start here at 1.3 cents versus 1.9 cents to Onyx coin, but I do have a feeling this thing will catch up in a matter of no time. I wouldn't be surprised. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I very much expect big things to come from Onyx Coin. I think that we're going to move up above 4 cents on this next move, just by the way of this bull flag here. But it wouldn't surprise me if SwiftCoin saw a bigger move. I think it has more catching up to do, and I also think that it has a lower. I mean, I don't think, I know it has a lower market cap, so it's easier, in theory, for this thing to move up than it would be for a coin of a higher caliber to move up, right? At the end of the day, the race persists. Who's going to get to 20 cents first? Onyx coin is in the lead, but SwiftCoin is hot on the tail. You've got a bull flag of your own, don't you? You've got a bull flag of your own right here, from a relative low to a relative high there. If we take this flagpole and we put it at, I don't even know if that's the appropriate base of the flagpole. Let's get it maybe like right there. You put it at the base of the flag, assuming that's the low, and I think that is the low. We'll go over that in a second. That sets you up for a 3.18 cent price. You'll be hot on Onyx Coin's tail even if you stop here. But the thing is, with measure moves, you don't have to stop there. You can fall short, you can exceed them. So I suppose it remains to be seen as far as how high this thing will go. Will it crush through its measure move and see its all-time high area, or will it fall shy of its measure move and stop at some other place of resistance along the way? I don't know. Let's look at this on a fib basis real quick, from a high to a low. I mean, that measure move, that's a nice measure move right there at the 786, man. You really could stop right there. If not, I suppose 3.8 cents would be the highest I would give for this next breakout. But obviously, inevitably, by the end of May, by the end of June, you're going to be at higher prices, right? We're expecting higher prices. So this is just that next kind of phase up, what we're going to see maybe next week or the week after, going into the end of this month of April. Looking at the daily RSI, you were overbought a little bit, and you got out of the overbought zone. You're now finding support above the 50, between the 50 and the 60. That's never a bad thing. If we're taking this relative low here to a relative high there, you've gone below the 382, even tipped the 0.5, found some support there, prior area of resistance here, prior area of support here, prior area of resistance here. I feel pretty confident that that's a low. That's a low right there. On a 4-hour basis, you're consolidating a lot like Onyx Coin here, with this little like triangle. You broke out, no volume, just like Onyx Coin, and then you had this reversal at your low. Volume came in. I very much believe that you found your low, and I think that you're working your way higher. If you had a hard time looking at it as a bull flag on the daily time frame, which I don't know what would be so hard about this, but on the 4-hour time frame, hopefully it looks a little bit more like a bull flag. And I feel very appropriate about taking the low from where we took it, not from back here. Assuming that you do progress higher, and I assume that you do, you got overbought, you didn't get oversold, you're living above the 50, you're gasping for air below the 50. This is all the signs of bullish strength, bearish exhaustion. So I do believe you're going to be running up here pretty soon. I'm going to stick with that target. I like that target of about, what was it, 3.8 cents? Is that what it was? Was it 3.8 or 3 point something? Let me see. Yeah, no. Well, I thought it was 3.8. 3.8 at the highest. Okay, 3.2. 3.2 cents, essentially. 3.17 cents for being very technical there. That's your next target area. Likely by the end of this month of April. Higher targets might be reserved for later days, sometime in May, and that's fine, right? Ultimately, you do have higher targets in mind. Ultimately, you do. And from here, regardless of what happens over the coming days or coming weeks, who's ahead of who, Onyx Coin or SwiftCoin, I have a suspicion that whenever it comes to measuring from the current day to the end of the cycle, I have a suspicion that SwiftCoin will outperform Onyx Coin because it's got such a dramatically lower market cap here. 136 million versus 628 million, right? That's a pretty significant difference. Now, Onyx Coin is still my biggest bag, and I expect a lot out of Onyx Coin, and I'm very confident on that coin. I'm very confident on SwiftCoin too. And I mean what I say whenever I say that I think it could outperform Onyx Coin between now and the end of the cycle. So if you're jacked on Onyx Coin, you should also be jacked on SwiftCoin, in my opinion. Decent volume, nothing too crazy, but decent volume for that kind of market cap, even in these boring times. When it comes to all-time highs, hold on. A coin like this, when it comes to all-time highs, a 100x would put you at a $13.6 billion market cap. A 200x would be $27 billion. A 400x would be like $54 billion, right? Something like that. Those are all attainable market caps, right? Those are all achievable. Now, they're not promised. There's no coin out there that has a $136 million market cap or less that's promised to see a 13, 14, $15 billion market cap or beyond. But the coins that are at these levels of market cap, the coins that are showing strength and have been moving up throughout the cycle, seeing new all-time highs, that are like this, they are the types to do 100x's or more cycle after cycle, cycle over, right? That's what we see. So this coin, I definitely believe not only is it 100xable, but I think it's multi-100xable. We genuinely could see a 400x here, where with Onyx coin, and I'm not saying that we will see a 400x, but I'm saying it's a very you have a solid chance. You have a very solid chance of seeing that. You've at least got a likelihood there. It's not just a simple possibility, but a likelihood to even go there. Onyx coin, a 400x from here puts you over $100 billion. I don't think that's going to happen, man. No offense to Onyx coin. I like Onyx coin a lot, and I would be throttled. I'd be absolutely thrilled if we saw I might sell too early too, if we see a over $100 billion market cap this cycle. That'd be fantastic. That'd be great. I just don't think it's going to happen. Right? I'm not saying the same things. I don't think that SwiftCoin is going to see a $100 billion market cap. I'm just saying at a 200x, Onyx coin would be over a $100 billion market cap. At a 200x for SwiftCoin, you're still under a $30 billion market cap. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot more potential for growth here. It just hasn't it hasn't hit the same levels in market cap. It hasn't seen the same attention as Onyx coin, because Onyx coin actually for a time hit the top 100, and everybody, doesn't matter who you are in crypto, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll do a simple analysis like this. They'll go through they'll go on coin market cap, they'll type past 24 hours, who's up the most, right? They'll click on that, and whoever's up the most, Onyx coin, wow, they're in the top 100. This is a new coin. I've never heard of this before. They'll look into it like that. That's a very simple way that people kind of do analysis in this game, right? SwiftCoin being far away from the top 100, that takes a little bit more. You have to do this not just with the top 100, but go through and look at the top like 300 or something like that. And by the way, while we're on this note, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, okay? This is not a perfect way to do analysis, and do not by any means think that if you do this by itself, you are finding the next winning token. But if you look at the market caps and you look at the volumes in correspondence to that, if you have a high amount of volume, that's a good sign. Now this, on the other hand, this is like 4 times the amount of volume. So I would stay away from that. You don't want volume that's like at the market cap level or above it. You don't want that. But something like, I don't know, like that. Yeah, that's not bad. Venice token, whatever the hell that is, market cap looks like this, volume looks like that. That's not bad. Above 10%, that's not bad. That's too much volume for me. Moving on, right? Stuff like that. If you're looking for quote unquote winners, what you want to see is a low market cap, something that's below 100 million, because that has a lot of room to grow in market cap value. And then you want something with decent volume. This, for example, doesn't have decent volume. I mean, it's decent, I suppose, but it's not desirable. You want more than that. Does that mean that this thing can't grow? Well, I guess it's a stable coin. So that's a bad example anyways. It doesn't really matter so much, but you get the point, okay? I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but all I'm saying is most people don't take, this is also a simple and basic and a flawed way of doing it. It's not so cut and dry. Like, just because this one has decent volume here, although I actually do like this project, doesn't mean that it will grow. You have to do more research than that, right? But this is kind of a starting point for me, opening the door, right? What's it look like? Oh, it's being boring. Oh, there's no volume here. I'm not interested, right? Let's see. Oh, it's kind of being boring. Oh, look at that. There's volume here. Just because it's green doesn't mean it's not being boring, right? It is being boring. Look at how it's moving sideways over the past week. Over the past little bit of this week, over the past couple days, I should say. But you've got 10% volume on your market cap, right? That's enough for me to look into, to be like, okay, what is this? But it's a meme coin, so I probably wouldn't look into it. But I'm talking at this point, just trying to give a little insight as to a very basic form of hunting for coins, and a reason why SwiftCoin might not be looked at as much as Onyx coin right now, because it's not in the top 100. It takes a little bit more digging to go through the top 300 coins, the top 200 coins, wherever SwiftCoin's at. Actually, where is it at? Let's see. SwiftCoin, you're at number 251, so within the top 300 there. Anyways, moving on here. I do believe that we're going to see some phenomenal growth. I think that a 400x is possible. I think a 500x is possible. Once you start getting ahead of a 500x, it's a lot less likely. A 500x is even not like the most likely thing to happen, but anything from, I think, a 100 to a 300x, 400x especially, those numbers, those those are probably the most likely outcomes to happen by the end of this cycle here. Okay, so from a relative high here to a relative low, you hit your 2272. You did something rare, which is you found resistance just below the 2272, came down, found support at the 886. Okay, very, very volatile, absolutely. But still, I like that you held support at the 886. Back above the 1272, now finding support there. My guess would be that your next endeavor takes you above your above, if not at least to your money zone here, right? Your money zone. That's the next target area. I don't think that you did all this just to stop at the minimum, the next target, the 2618. I don't think so. I think that you'll at least stop in the money zone, if not higher. Now, if you don't stop in the money zone, which is at 11.3 cents to 15.3 cents, if you don't stop here, the only next suitable target based off this fib would be 30 cents and beyond. Now, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Onyx Coin is in a position more so to hit 20 cents before SwiftCoin right now. But I think SwiftCoin is in a position to hit 30 cents before Onyx Coin. Genuinely, as crazy as it sounds, especially with last week up 73%, I think that you have the potential to see a 22x from here, from the current price. SwiftCoin has the potential by the end of June to see a 22x or more in its price growth, right? We know this. We can and because of that, right? 20x off of 136 million. I mean, what that's going to be like $4 billion, right? Because a 10x would be 1.36. Oh, it's not even 4. It's like it'd be like 3 billion, right? Not even quite 3 billion. So $3 billion. That's not asking the world of SwiftCoin, right? That's a lot of growth and that's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. $3 billion is a lot of money, but that's not asking the world when it comes to the crypto markets. Could you stop at 11 cents? Sure. I mean, could you stop at 15 cents? Sure. That's possible as well. I think, in fact, let's see, if that's a 7, that'd be an 8x from your current price. That probably puts you at $1 billion in market cap. Yeah, you could find resistance there on the notion that $1 billion is psychological resistance. You're at the money zone too. It's a very powerful area to find resistance. So if you don't break above 15.3 cents, you likely won't see 30 cents. That's the target. You need to break above 15.3, but at least 11.2 to 15.3, which gives you a minimum target from the current price of about 1.356 cents, of about an 8.3x. So even out on the low scale, dude, you're blowing everything else out of the water. From a high to a low here, relative high to low, and I do believe you found your low. I think we've validated that at this point. You've got your 1618 golden ratio up here, okay? I'm going to delete everything. We're going to start anew, actually, okay? We're going to put the same fibs on there, though, right? High to low. And just notice that you went to the 2272, right? Pretty deep retracement here, went to the 2272. High to low here, your 1618, not the 2272, but the 1618 is right here at the money zone. Significant resistance around that 15 cent area, okay? You don't have to go above this. Just because you went to the 2272 on this fib does not mean you have to go to the 2272 on this fib. But maybe it could at least hint at the fact that you could go above the 1618. And if you go above there, what's the next target area? It's the 1886 to 200, which lines up pretty damn well with this 30 cent area. And you could stop, based off of this fib, you could stop at 24 cents. So anything, I would say, from 24 cents, I doubt you go all the way up to 50 cents. But you never know. You never know. It's got a low enough market cap. You can see crazy things. Crazier things have happened, you guys, in less amounts of time. But I definitely believe that SwiftCoin has, I would say, if I really had to guess, 15 cents at a minimum to, let's say, 40 cents at a maximum. I like that 30 cent area, 25 to 30 cent area. I really like that a lot. And you're at 1.35 cents now. So a lot of growth to come over the coming weeks, over the coming months. I expect this move to take place over the coming weeks, and I expect it to achieve full maturity, hit its price target area where it's going to consolidate next on a weekly basis, at least, at the end of June, right? This is just projecting out the next move. Now, after this next move, you'll consolidate for a little bit. I doubt it's going to be for 3 months like we did here. I bet it's going to be a lot less time, and we'll continue moving onwards, right? SwiftCoin, by the end of the cycle, again, I told you it had multi-100x potential. 100x from here puts you at $1.36, sorry. A 200x potential would put you at $2.70, right? And 400x, you could absolutely see this thing being worth over $5, right? You could see those kind of targets. I'm not saying that's going to happen, and we don't have a proper high to low to gauge it from with these fib extensions here. But if we're going off of our most relative fib extension, the one that's kind of got the most, I would say, the most significance going forward right now, you know, I think you've got $1.50 or more in the bag. That's your money zone right there. and that's 100x away from the current price. So I think you have that $5.75 at your 3618. I could see that happening. I really could see this zone being achieved as well. But something in between this money zone here, the 3618, 3786 area, could be where you go. Anything past that, you're getting. I think 782 is a bit crazy. I even think 575 is a bit crazy, right? But 227, $1.50, not so crazy, and going somewhere in between there could happen as well. Again, the charts, we don't have too much data, so I don't know. And as you get deeper in these extensions, they're not respected as much. Maybe at times they are, sometimes they are, but in general they're not. So seeing a abnormal kind of area in the middle of these fibs, that could be a thing, especially on a fib like this. It's just small. It's not like a significant cycle high to cycle low fib, right? But we don't have that. So and I don't even think even if we did apply that, right, if we applied a cycle high to cycle low fib, wait, what? I thought OKX had all the, was it this one? Okay, even if we did that, I don't know if it'll provide accurate readings. Let's see if it does. All-time high to all-time low. I mean, yeah, I like that. Just above the 2272. That's a very common thing in these crypto markets, man, actually. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Even here at your 1886200 level, you've got that 100x potential being above $1.35. So yeah, I mean, I agree with this. I don't know whether that's coincidence or not. That's not for me to say. High to low here. Let's just see. 3618 again, right up there. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine, man. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I think that you're moving up. I'm not worried about today at all. Yes, you've moved down a little bit. We talked about a lot of the longer term stuff, the mid-term stuff, not the immediate term stuff, but I don't think you're going to go below this low. I think you're actually in a position now, even though you're down 6% to 7% today, I think you're in a position now where it's a good area to buy. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but yes, it's a good time to buy. I think you're in a good position now to where you'll start to roll over this RSI and go back into the overbought zone, see this next leg up, and continue on your merry way with this overall retracement from the relative all-time high that you have to this relative low that you have. 0.5 rejection, coming back below the 382, consolidating around here. Next target is the golden ratio. Absolutely it is. 2.3 to, what is that there? 2.3 cents to 2.6 cents, and you could even go higher with the notion of this measure move of the bull flag here, taking you up to about 3.2 cents. With that in mind, 3.2 cents being the target, the actual target, right? This is your next zone here, the golden ratio, right? And that's why we talked about it. It was at 2.33 to 2.66 cents, right around here. That's your next target area. But based off the bull flag, I would say really you should be expecting 3.2 cents around there, and you could even go higher, but accept the notion that the measure move is not a requirement. You can fall short of it, you can exceed it, right? But if I had to guess, I'm going to think that over the next week or so, maybe over the next 2 weeks, you'll see prices above 3 cents again, SwiftCoin. So good job to all the Swifties out there. Hold on. Things are about to get really good. I've got nothing else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.